For years, Mark hid his feelings for his heterosexual best friend, with whom he shared an apartment. But one rainy night, everything changed. A confession made in the dark set off a chain of events that turned their lives upside down. And while one was ready to fight for the truth, the other was afraid of losing everything. I heard his footsteps before I saw him. Quick, uncertain, stopping right outside my bedroom door. I should have said something, but instead I closed my eyes and pretended to sleep. "Ethan," he whispered, just barely audible through the wood. God, why is this so hard? Liam, my best friend since college. The guy I'd lived with for 2 years in this too-small Chicago apartment. The one who never flinched when I came out. Who joked about being my gay-style consultant before dates and made it all feel normal. But lately, something wasn't normal. It started with the glances that lasted too long. The way his hand lingered on my back when I laughed. How he sat closer than he needed to. I chalked it up to imagination, to wishful thinking, until tonight. Until he leaned against my door like it was the only thing keeping him upright and said, "I think I'm in love with you." Then silence. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. And after a few seconds, I heard him walk away. That's when everything shifted. The next morning, I woke before my alarm. My body felt wired, restless. I didn't know if Liam would pretend last night never happened, or if he even realized I was awake. I found him in the kitchen, standing over the coffee maker like it owed him answers. He looked up, startled. "Didn't expect you up," he muttered, rubbing the back of his neck. "Didn't sleep much," I said, grabbing a mug. Our hands brushed. Neither of us moved. The silence between us was louder than any argument we'd ever had. "You okay?" I asked. He hesitated. "Yeah, just tired. Long game last night." That was a lie. He hadn't gone to basketball practice. He came home early, said he wasn't feeling well, and then stood outside my room confessing feelings he'd buried for months. I wanted to confront him, say I heard everything. Instead, I said nothing, because I wasn't ready, not to shatter our dynamic, not to hear him say it was all a mistake. Later that evening, we ended up on the couch like always, watching some mindless movie, laughing at scenes we barely paid attention to. And yet, it felt completely different. Liam kept shifting beside me, touching the hem of his sleeve, chewing on his lip. He wasn't watching the movie either. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. "What's going on with you?" I asked, muting the TV. He turned to me, expression tight. "Nothing. Don't lie to me, Liam. I've known you too long." He stared at the floor. "Do you ever feel like you've been pretending your whole life, and then one moment just ruins it?" My heart clenched. "What moment?" He looked at me then, eyes raw. "Last night." I held my breath. "I meant what I said," he continued. "I wasn't drunk. I wasn't confused. I stood outside your door because I didn't know how else to say it to your face." "I was awake," I said quietly. The air shifted. Liam blinked. "You... what?" "I heard everything." His face went pale. "Jesus, Ethan. Why didn't you say something?" "I didn't know what to say." He stood up, started pacing. "I've been going crazy for weeks. I didn't plan any of this. It's not like I suddenly woke up and thought, let me fall for my gay best friend and ruin my entire sense of self. I got up too. You didn't ruin anything." He laughed bitterly. "Didn't I? I've been in straight relationships my whole life. I've had girlfriends. I've had a type. You weren't supposed to be part of that picture. But here we are." He stopped pacing. "Yeah, here we are. And I don't know what the hell I'm doing." For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then I stepped closer. "You're not the only one who's scared," I said. "But I'm not running." He looked at me, eyes flicking to my mouth and back again. "I want to kiss you so badly right now," he admitted. "Then do it." He didn't move. "I can't," he whispered. "Not if I'm going to regret it in the morning." I took a breath. "Then figure out what you want, Liam, because I can't keep pretending this is normal anymore." He didn't stop me as I walked to my room and shut the door, but I heard him lean against the wall seconds later. "Just like last night. Tomorrow someone unexpected will find out, and it won't be either of them who says it first. What happens next will test everything they thought they knew about each other, and themselves." The next morning, Liam avoided my eyes like it was a sport. He mumbled a quick goodbye before heading to the gym, his go-to escape when things got too real. I stared at the door long after it shut, wondering if I'd crossed a line by giving him an ultimatum. But I couldn't unsay what I'd said. We couldn't rewind. Half an hour later, my phone buzzed. Lexi, Liam's sister. "Hey, random question. Are you and my brother dating?" I froze. She followed up. "He's been weird. And the last time I asked about you, he blushed." Blushed. That man hasn't blushed since middle school. I stared at the screen, unsure what to type. We weren't dating. We hadn't even kissed. But it wasn't nothing anymore. So I replied honestly, "It's complicated." Within seconds, she called. "Complicated?" she repeated. "That's code for yes, but we don't know what we're doing, right?" I rubbed my eyes. "Lex, I don't think I'm the one who should explain this." She sighed. "No, he won't talk. But just so you know, I've suspected it for months. He looks at you like the ground might vanish if you walk away." I felt my heart stutter. She continued. "I know he's confused. I also know he's stubborn and terrified. But I've never seen him care about someone like this." Liam came back later than usual. I was in the kitchen when he walked in, sweat still clinging to his skin. He grabbed water and started to head to his room without a word. "Your sister called me," I said. He froze. "She asked if we were dating. Said you've been acting strange." He didn't turn around. "What did you tell her?" "That it's complicated." He finally faced me. "Why'd she even ask you?" "Because you've changed. And not just around me." He sat down heavily, dropping the bottle on the table. "I'm not good at this." "No one is," I said. "But hiding isn't the same as thinking." He looked at me then, the mask slipping. "What if I mess this up?" "You already are." Silence. I sighed. "You told me you wanted to kiss me, but you didn't. You said you were scared of regretting it. But doing nothing? That is regret." "I'm trying," he whispered, "but I've spent years pretending I had everything figured out. And now, I don't even know who I am." I walked over, sat across from him. "You don't have to label it. Not yet. Just stop pushing me away like I'm something you're ashamed of." His jaw tightened. "I'm not ashamed of you. I'm ashamed of how long it's taken me to be honest." That weekend, his college friends hosted their usual Saturday hangout. Bonfire, beer, background music. He always dragged me along. But this time I hesitated. "Should I even go?" I asked. He paused. "If you don't, they'll ask why. And if I do?" He swallowed. "I don't know." Still, we went. The night started like always. Laughter, inside jokes, casual teasing, until someone brought up us. Not directly, but enough. "Still living with Ethan?" one guy asked, eyebrow raised. 2 years now," Liam replied, tone flat. "Man, if I lived with someone that long, I'd either marry them or kill them." A few chuckles. I stayed silent. Then another voice. "Wait, are you two, like, more than roommates now?" And there it was. I saw Liam stiffen beside me. He laughed, but it was off. "What? Number, we're just friends." The words hit like a slap. I didn't react, didn't move, just let it sink in. He didn't correct it, didn't look at me. Later, as we walked home, I stayed a step ahead. "Ethan," he called, but I didn't stop. "You could have said something," I said when he caught up. "Anything besides denying I meant anything to you." "I panicked," he admitted. "Do you know how that felt?" "Yes," he said, "because I hated myself the second I said it." "Then why do it?" "Because it's still easier to lie to them than face what this is." "And what is this?" He didn't answer. We stood under a street lamp, two people who knew each other too well, suddenly feeling like strangers. I turned away. "When you figure it out, let me know. Until then, don't expect me to keep waiting in the dark." He wants to fix what he broke. But when someone else enters Ethan's life, Liam realizes he might have waited too long. And this time, silence could cost him everything. I didn't answer Liam's text the next day, or the day after. He tried once to talk in the kitchen, but I just walked out. I didn't yell, didn't demand an apology. I didn't need to. The silence said everything. He let me go. That should have hurt more than it did. But I was past hurting. I was tired. Tired of almost. Tired of being someone's secret. So when Dylan from work asked if I wanted to grab a drink after Friday's shift, I said yes. He wasn't Liam. He didn't carry the weight of years or confused touches or things said through doors at 2 a.m. He was just easy. We went to a small bar, quiet, dim. He didn't talk much, but he listened, asked questions, leaned in when I spoke like he actually cared. Somewhere between the second and third drink, I laughed, really laughed, and realized I hadn't done that in days. Dylan smiled. "You've got a great laugh. You should use it more." I thanked him, brushing it off. But then he added, "Whoever made you stop doesn't deserve you." And just like that, Liam's face crashed into my thoughts. That night when I got home, Liam was in the living room. He stood as soon as I walked in. "You were out." It wasn't a question. "Yeah," I said, heading toward my room. "With who?" "Dylan." "From your office?" I turned. "Yes, why?" He didn't respond immediately, just clenched his jaw. "So, that's how it is." "What do you mean?" "You ignore me for days, then suddenly you're going on dates?" "It wasn't a date." "Right," he said, voice flat. "You don't get to be mad," I said, stepping forward. "You made it clear I don't mean anything when you laughed me off in front of your friends." I was scared. "So was I, but I didn't lie about you." His hands curled into fists. "You think this is easy for me?" "No, Liam. I think you're used to hiding and hoping no one notices. And that's fine. But I'm done being something you're ashamed to name." He opened his mouth, but nothing came out. I shook my head. "If you're not ready, that's okay. But don't expect me to pause my life until you figure yours out." Then I walked away again. But this time, it wasn't an act. I meant it. A week passed. He barely spoke to me. I focused on work. Texted Dylan. We got coffee, watched movies. He didn't try anything. He didn't need to. He just existed in a way that felt calm, steady. But every time he smiled at me, I wondered how Liam would have looked if he'd let himself be brave. One night I came home late. Dylan had walked me to the door. We hugged, nothing more. But the moment I stepped inside, Liam was waiting. "You like him," he said. "I like not being invisible." He looked like he hadn't slept. "I can't stop thinking about you." I froze. "I thought maybe if I let you go, it'd get easier," he continued. "But it's worse. Everything feels off." I stayed quiet. "I keep replaying the moment I lied to them, and then watching you walk away. And Dylan, I hate that it's him making you smile instead of me." "I wanted it to be you," I said, "but you made me feel like I was nothing." "You're not nothing," he said, stepping closer. "You're the only thing that makes sense right now." He paused. "I told my sister." That stopped me. "Told her what?" "That I think I'm in love with you." My breath caught. "She said it's about time." I let out a shaky laugh. "Yeah, she's not wrong." He reached for my hand, hesitated, then held it. "I don't know where this goes. I still have a lot to figure out. But I don't want to figure it out without you." I looked down at our hands. "Are you saying this because you saw me with Dylan?" "Number, I'm saying it because it hurts seeing you with someone who could be proud of you out loud." That hit deeper than I expected. "And," I asked, "I want to be that person. I want to stop hiding. I want to try. For real." I didn't answer. Not yet. Instead, I asked, "Would you tell your friends?" "Yes." "Your mom?" "Yes." "Would you still say it if Dylan kissed me tonight?" That one made him flinch. "Yes," he said, "even if I'd have to watch it kill me." Now that Liam is finally ready to be honest, Ethan must decide. Can he trust someone who once denied him, or is it too late? One decision, one conversation, and everything will change. For both of them. I didn't say anything that night. Liam's confession hung between us like a live wire, humming with possibility and danger. I just stared at him, my hand still in his, and nodded once. That was it. No promises, no kiss, no dramatic gesture. But something shifted. For the first time, I saw him not as someone trapped between fear and desire, but as someone ready to move toward me. The next morning, he asked if I wanted to come with him to his mom's. She was visiting for the weekend. Normally, I'd find an excuse to avoid it, but not this time. "You want me there?" I asked, testing. He met my eyes. "Yes, not as your friend, not as your roommate, as your Boyfriend. The word felt strange in his mouth, but he didn't flinch when he said it. So I agreed. His mom was kind, that warm, open type who noticed everything but said little until it mattered. We sat in her backyard, sipping lemonade, making small talk. I waited for him to speak, but he kept dancing around it. Finally, she turned to him. Liam, you've been fidgeting all afternoon. Either you're hiding something or you really hate lemonade. He set down his glass, hands in his lap, voice tight. There's something I need to tell you. She nodded, patient. I've been seeing someone. She smiled. That's nice. It's Ethan. The smile didn't change. I know. He blinked. Wait, what? You bring him to every holiday. You talk about him more than anyone else. I figured it out a while ago. And you're okay with it? Liam, she said gently, I care about your happiness, not the gender of the person who makes you smile like that. He looked like the ground dropped beneath him. I thought you might be disappointed. She shook her head. I'm disappointed you thought you had to hide. That broke something in him. His shoulders dropped. And then he laughed. Small, surprised, almost like relief. Back home, we didn't talk much. But we didn't need to. He kissed me in the hallway. No hesitation this time. Just a soft, sure kiss that said, this is real now. And then he said it again, just above a whisper. You're my boyfriend. A week later, we went to his usual Saturday game. The same guys, same court. But this time, I stood beside him as he greeted everyone. When someone said, you brought your cheerleader again, huh? He didn't laugh it off. Instead, he put his arm around my shoulder and said, actually, I brought my boyfriend. Silence. Then, finally, one guy muttered, tossing him the ball. That was it. No awkward comments, no pushback, just acceptance. He grinned at me, and I saw something new in his eyes. Peace. That night we were back in our apartment. I sat on the couch scrolling through my phone when he came in and dropped beside me. He looked serious. I owe you something. You don't owe me anything, I replied. I do, he said, for every time I made you feel small, for every time I let fear win, for not saying what I felt until someone else almost beat me to it. You said it eventually, I said. Too late? I shook my head, number but close. He nodded. I want to get this right. You already are. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a small key. Move in with me, he said. I blinked. We already live together. He shook his head. No more separate rooms. No more pretending we're just sharing rent. I want this. All of it. You. Us. I took the key. It was warm from his hand. It felt like more than metal. It felt like finally. Months later, we were still figuring things out. Some people needed time. Others didn't get it at all. But that didn't matter. Because when he reached for my hand in public, he didn't hesitate. Because when he introduced me to someone new, he said boyfriend, like it was the most natural word in the world. Because when I came home tired, frustrated, or broken, he was there. Always. We were in bed one night, lights off, bodies tangled the way they do when two people stop pretending. He whispered, do you remember that night I stood outside your door? I remember everything. I almost didn't say it. I know. But I'm glad I did. I turned to face him. Me too. Even if I was a coward first. You were brave when it counted. He exhaled. You make me want to be better. You already are. And that was true, not because he came out, not because he called me his boyfriend, but because he stopped hiding. From the world, from me, from himself. Coming out in your apartment is one thing. Coming out in your life, that's different. At first it felt easy. Our friends knew. His mom accepted us. Our home became ours in the way it always should have been. But the outside world still existed. It started small. A co-worker of Liam's commented offhandedly during lunch. Didn't expect you to be that guy. Liam froze. What guy? You know, the one with a boyfriend. He didn't reply, just tightened his jaw and went quiet. That night, he didn't bring it up, but I knew. The next morning, he hesitated before kissing me goodbye at the train station, a hesitation I hadn't seen in weeks. Something wrong? I asked. He shook his head. Just tired. I didn't push. But it happened again. At a family gathering, his cousin made a joke. Something about phases and college experiments. Liam didn't laugh, but he didn't speak either. Later that night, he was quiet, distant. I asked what was going on. I don't want to make everything a fight, he said. It's not about fighting, I replied. It's about not shrinking. I'm not shrinking, but he was. Not with me, with them. One night we went out to a local bar, just a normal Friday night. We didn't do anything unusual. We sat close, talked. At one point he reached for my hand. That's when a guy across the room muttered something under his breath, loud enough to hear, quiet enough to deny. Liam flinched. Let it go, he said. But I didn't want to let it go. Not because I wanted to cause a scene, but because I saw what it did to him. How fast confidence drained from his posture. How fast old fears returned. We left early. Back home, I asked the question I'd been holding for days. Are you ashamed of me again? He looked at me, eyes sharp. Number never. Then why are you letting people shrink you again? He didn't answer right away. Finally, because part of me still thinks I have to earn the right to be this happy, like someone's going to take it away if I make too much noise about it. I walked over, placed a hand on his chest. This isn't something you earn, it's something you live. A few days later, I found a letter taped to the bathroom mirror. His handwriting, messy, fast. I'm sorry I flinched. I'm sorry I stayed quiet. But I'm done pretending discomfort is safer than truth. You've always been brave. Now I want to be too. Underneath a photo, us, from a month ago, at his sister's party, his arm around me, both of us laughing, natural, unstaged. And now it was posted on his social media, captioned simply, I'm in love with my best friend. The ripple came fast. Some comments were warm, supportive, joyful. Others weren't. He got DMS. Some confused, a few cruel. One from an old friend who told him to get his life straight. I waited, expecting him to retreat again, but he didn't. He replied to each one, kind but clear. Unapologetic. I'm still me, he wrote, just not hiding anymore. And for the first time, I saw him truly step into himself. Weeks later, we were walking through a street fair when someone from his past, an old high school teammate, stopped us. Hey, man, long time. Liam nodded. Yeah, been a while. The guy glanced between us. This your... My boyfriend, Liam said without blinking. The guy raised his eyebrows, then shrugged. Cool. Good for you. That was it. No drama, no second glances. Afterward, Liam turned to me. I keep waiting for things to fall apart. Maybe they won't. Maybe they already did, and we're just building better. We still had hard days. Sometimes I'd catch him overthinking every interaction, wondering what strangers thought, whether his coworkers whispered behind his back. But then he'd grab my hand and keep walking. He wasn't fearless. He was just choosing courage anyway. One night, while brushing our teeth, he looked at me through the mirror and said, I used to think I'd lose everything if I told the truth. And now, he smiled, now I know I was already losing it by staying silent. I stepped closer. So no regrets? Only one, he said. What? That I didn't say it the night I stood outside your door. I touched his arm. You said it when it mattered. Love isn't just the moment someone chooses you. It's the 1,000 moments after. When they keep choosing you in front of others. When it's hard. When it costs them something. Liam didn't just come out for me. He came out to himself. And that's where everything truly began.